As you can tell, I have a lot of ramen packs here because we're going to be testing out a bunch of viral ramen hacks. This is going to be a sodium-filled journey. Okay, so I want to do this video because I feel like Buldak Ramen, both the fire ramen version and the carbonara version, are having a moment on TikTok. I keep getting content about it. People trying it for the first time, people buying all kinds of different flavors, but also a lot of videos about people getting creative with it. And so today, we're gonna be trying out some of them and giving them a nice little ranking. Some of them look pretty tasty, some of them not so much. So it's gonna be an interesting time. If you're not familiar with Buldak Ramen, it's basically an extremely spicy, saucy ramen. Isn't it interesting how trends kind of come back? Remember how we used to do the fire ramen challenge? This is basically what it looks like. And the carbonara version seems to have some sort of milk and cheese situation in it already. I've actually never tried this, so we're gonna start off by giving this a taste so we have a proper baseline. It looks like milk, sugar, mozzarella. I want to say it smells like creamy tomato pasta sauce, but very spicy. Very creamy. Honestly, I feel like this is pretty great on its own already, but that brings me to the first hack, which is to add milk and cheese to the ramen while it's cooking to get a little side-by-side comparison. I do already feel the cheese sticking to the bottom. The creaminess is definitely there. I think because of the extra dairy, it really coats the noodles. The dairy also helps bring the heat down by a lot. So I feel like the original version is more like a tomato cream bisque noodle, whereas this version with the milk and cheese feels a little more like mac and cheese. So I think considering the taste and the ease of the hack, I would give this a pretty high 8 out of 10. Milk and cheese, super easy. If you want a quick, fun mac and cheese at night, this is the way to go. Moving on after this bite. Very good. I have to be honest with you, I went into this one thinking it was going to be kind of meh because it was just like so many ingredients, it seemed unnecessary, but the moment that truffle oil hit the pan, the fragrance it gave off, plus the sour cream, it reminds me of the truffle cream pasta that you always get upcharged for at pasta places. Which is a good thing if we're able to replicate that sort of flavor, but also wow, this looks crazy good. It's cheesy, it's creamy, it smells like mushroom and truffle. Oh my god. I hate that I'm saying this. This is really good. Something about using that sour cream instead of heavy cream. The sour cream also gives it that nice little tang, a little bit of acidity that I feel like we were missing in the mac and cheese earlier. I do think you don't need the PB Mayo, but otherwise, this really is giving me truffle pasta vibes. I would give this a 9 out of 10. if you want like a little bit of a bougie ramen experience, this is an easy way to do that. Maybe I should have saved this for dinner. I feel like we don't have that many soup versions today, so I am very curious about this one. This mayo one, I remember seeing a few years back. Ramen hacks in general, something about the yolk and the mayo makes it extra creamy as a soup. Smell-wise, I'm mostly still getting the fire sauce. I'm trying to figure out how I feel about the color of this soup. I will say the chili oil definitely helps make it look more attractive. Oh, flavor-wise, I'm mostly tasting the original carbonara powder. There's none of that mayo taste. The yolk and the mayo kind of makes for this like rounded aftertaste. So for all the carbonara versions we've had is like super creamy. This one, even though it has the egg yolk in it, it feels lighter. Would enjoy this as a soup noodle actually. I'd even go as far as to say that this feels closest to something you would get at a ramen shop. It reminds me a little bit of tantan noodles, and I feel like peanut butter would be really good in this, but we have another version of that coming up later, so I would give this a 7.5. It's very solid, feels like something you could whip up really fast when it's really cold. If you want something like a warm soup on a sad night, I just wouldn't say that it's as addictive as our 9s so far. This is the butter garlic stir fry ramen with egg, a twist on an old hack. I do like that the noodles kind of get to sit in the garlic butter for a little bit, so you get these like crisp on it. Smell wise, it just smells like the fire sauce. I'll try one of the eggs too. Texture wise, I think it's a little more fun. It's even chewier than usual. It does remind me a little more of like pan fried noodles, like Chinese pan fried noodles. The only thing is I don't really taste the butter garlic anymore because the fire sauce is so overwhelming. Good thing is that it does pack some protein in there, but I don't know. I feel like 5 out of 10 is a bit mean. Mainly because I don't know if the end result justifies the effort. Can I go back and change my rating for the last one though? I want to bump that one up to a 10. I don't think I knew how good I had it. I'm still thinking about it. I literally finished it all right afterwards, so I'm promoting that to a 10. Moving on. Garlic, that vinegar, and that sizzle of oil on top of the garlic, the scallions. There's no way this one's not gonna be good. Knowing that this one's called chili oil ramen, even the smell is different. For example, the last one, it still smelled just like the fire sauce. For this recipe, oh my gosh, I keep on like salivating. For this one, when you're smelling it, the vinegar immediately balances out the fire sauce. Look at how beautiful these ones are. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Man, this one's good. I feel like this way of making noodles, hot oil on top of your chosen aromatics, you just can't go wrong with it. And it actually pairs really well with the fire sauce, where normally we would add some sort of chili oil, right? Here, the fire sauce is the chili oil, and that vinegar and the sweetness of the sugar, oh, it just all goes together so well. Also, that extra oil really helps it feel like silky smooth in the mouth. Delicious. This is delicious. I'm gonna put this one up there at a 9, maybe even 9.5. Oh. 10 out of 10. 100% worth that extra effort. Especially if you like fire noodles but you think it's too hot for you. This is the way to go. So good. This one kind of reminds me of the carbonara. It is very creamy, definitely because of the peanut butter. I have played around with peanut butter and ramen noodles before, and I know that it usually works really well, but let's see what it's like with the fire noodles. I thought the peanut butter would help with the spice, but it does not. It is still very spicy, but I like how the peanut butter kind of coats your tongue. Even though the spice is definitely still there, it helps mellow it out a little bit. It's like wrapping the spice in this creamy pillow. I know the concept of adding peanut butter seems a little weird, but peanut butter really does work so well in noodles. I like how the peanut butter makes it creamier and more savory. Also, the reason I added the rice vinegar was to give it back like a little bit of acidity to cut through the peanut butter. This one also definitely clumps up a lot easier. It's not one of my favorites so far, but it's very easy to put together. I could see myself eating this again. I think I'd give this like a 6.5, 7. It was a super easy way to change up the original flavor a little bit, so I'm into it. As someone who really likes spring rolls, I am very intrigued by this. Two versions here. One is technically a summer roll, a Vietnamese summer roll, so uncooked carrot and cucumbers. I have some sort of dipping sauce here. And then we also have these Korean versions. I feel like it's like a version of their kimari, like deep fried seaweed rolls. I feel like this one has a lot of potential. I'm gonna start by tasting this summer roll. This look though is very interesting. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of this brain-like visual, but props to trying to get veggies in there. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. There's already a lot of chew going on with the noodles. I know normally for summer rolls they put vermicelli in it instead of noodles, so in concept I feel like it does work, but I feel like the part that I do like is the carrot and cucumber in here, which kind of defeats the purpose of it being a ramen hack. So I don't know about this one. I feel like I would give this like a, I don't know, 4 out of 10. The points I give it are mainly for the fun factor. I like finger food. I am excited about this one though. It looks very crispy, has the cheese in there. A lot less messy than this other one. Maybe because it's so much more compact, has the seaweed and the cheese kind of binding it together. That's what it looks like. I like this. This is like great party food. It's also less spicy, I think, because of all the layers you have wrapped around the fire noodles. You could also definitely put like whatever you want in there. As a concept, I'm into it. I would give this an 8 out of 10. It is a little more time consuming to make. Flavor-wise, I don't think it's anything too crazy, but I like the presentation, the visual, the overall cohesiveness. It makes me excited for the next one though, since we're also playing with cheese and wrappers. Hot honey was totally unnecessary, but it is my preference. Ooh, these are like mozzarella cheese sticks with ramen. Oh, look at this golden brown. This is perfection. Oh, something about toasted cheese. I have high hopes for this one. It might not be as clean of a bite, but something about this caramelization of the cheese on the outside is just, oh, it's so good. I'm giving it a lot of bonus points of how well it goes together. The sausage, the hot honey, the cheese. This is the kind of junk food you want at like 2 a.m. in the morning. It's indulgent in the best way. Give me this one an 8.5 out of 10. If I was drunk and eating this, I'd give this like a 10 out of 10. This is another interesting one. I tried to emulate the street food vibes, hence the styrofoam box that is left over from my shoot, I think like 3 years ago. Essentially a ramen omelette, and there's a lot going on here. This is extremely decadent. This looks pretty good, to be honest. Like if I saw this on social media, I would want to go get it. I'm trying to get a bite of everything. I feel like there's nothing crazy surprising here. Again, I would file this under food to eat when you've had a bit much to drink. That initial butteriness, even though it did burn a little, I like the flavor it gives. I don't think it's anything crazy special though. So I feel like I'd put this at like a 5 out of 10. Nothing bad about it, nothing great about it. It's just here for you. This one took way longer than I thought it was going to, mostly because I was hoping this was going to work, but it just has not solidified properly. It looks like a living creature. I ended up standing there making this aligot for I think at least 10 to 15 minutes, just mixing it like crazy. I will say it is not the most perfect because I did not have the actual ingredients to make it. I did try to replicate the sour cream and onion flavor, and I feel like the consistency hopefully is what he was envisioning. I feel like this is a nice little callback to the carbonara from the beginning of the video. The cheesy potato, the onion, the sour cream, going back to the spice level, it also helps bring it down again. And it is sort of like an interesting texture where it's like the creaminess from mashed potatoes. I also use cheddar cheese here, so you get the sharpness there as well. But it is very, very rich. Like rich and heavy, sort of rich. As much as I love the vision for this version, I don't know if it's worth the effort. I would give this maybe like a 4.5 out of 10. I don't know if it's fair to rank this, but the Pringles version is not high on the list either. Not sure if this is the one for me either. Well, there you have it. All 10 and a half of the ramen hacks today. I will say, even though a lot of these hacks today are for fire ramen or the carbonara version, I think you could actually use them for many of the brands out there. So yes, if there are any other hacks that you know of that you love or that you wanted to try, leave them in the comment below. But also let me know if you disagree with any of these ratings. I eat ramen all the time, so it's kind of fun to experiment and see what we collectively love the most. I think that was enough sodium for today. I am going to drink a lot of water, and I'll see you in the next video.